What is up, everybody? Benoit here. Welcome to the Tactical Fellowship. The purpose of today's video is to walk you through the build details of my Spec Ops Flux Raider and a few things that I learned along the way that I'd encourage you to avoid. Before we get to that though, how about you go ahead and stick your thumb up YouTube's anti-gun loving hole by liking and subscribing, and you gotta check out the kit page. It's where I do all the work for you, such as reaching out to vendors to secure custom discounts exclusively for viewers of Tactical Fellowship, and so much more. Did you know that every time an affiliate link is used, a Tactical Fellowship bullet gets its wings? It's true. Seriously though, guys, the affiliate links do help keep this channel afloat at no extra cost to you, so check out the kit page. And to Taco Bet, Flux will eventually release a chassis that is already configured in my Spec Op form. Give it a year or two. All right, so let's dive into the build details of this, and it really started out just as a plain Jane black Flux Raider. I got my hands on the older one, not the X version, but no matter what version you have, it'll work. So let's walk through this muzzle to muzzle, starting at the tip. What you see here on the front end is a Surefire X300 UB in FDE. I kept the flashlight in line with the chassis because I wanted to keep this as sleek as possible. I didn't want appendages hanging off the side, making it weird width-wise. I do not regret having the X300 just sitting off the bottom. Moving on to the Flux Raider chassis, it's remarkably untouched except for a few parts that I added from Armory Craft. I've replaced the safety on the left side of the Flux with Armory Craft's safety switch. Regrets for all of us, this part is actually no longer in production, and that's a shame because I really like this part. It looks really massive and girthy, but it actually doesn't add much width onto the side overall than the OEM part itself, so I don't know if it's a kind of a placebo. I also bought Armory Craft's right side safety delete because what I found is when I was really grabbing the Flux, the right side safety lever would pinch my fleshy flesh, and I hated that. So I bought the right side safety delete hoping that would be a solution for me, and it actually wasn't, because it decreased the tactile click of the safety. Kind of became more of a nebulous movement, so that part came off. Your mileage may vary on this, but the part that I do have on here from Armory Craft that is still in production, that I think is one of the better parts out there, is their sport takedown lever for the P320. This adds a good stepped ledge to it, making the push down, on, and up a breeze. So anything that makes the maintenance easier on a gun is good. This is a part that I would recommend you put on all your 320s, and it is compatible with all the holsters that you already have. Looking at the grip, of course, I have Hogue hockey tape for the vibes. Up from that, looking at the back, you can of course see the Spec Op chop, and you can watch that how-to right here. I spray painted the entire thing 2 different colors. The base coat is Rust-Oleum Army Green, and then the accent color is Rust-Oleum's Deep Forest Green. I used a nylon laundry sack for the cool pattern. The brace rails, I spray painted some sort of Rust-Oleum blue. Blue was lost to time. I no longer know what color it was, but I would not advise doing this. As you can see on the rail, the colors are all kind of worn down and they look kind of cool, but that's because I need to almost completely sand it off in order to get the rails to work again. Basically, spray painting this with a coat or two added just a little bit of width in an area that's got very tight tolerances and a little bit of sticky gumminess because of the spray paint that rubbed off inside the channels, and the added friction of the paint kept it from flinging back to full extension lock. All that to say, what I learned, just don't paint the brace rails in my opinion. Let's do the FCU and up, and you're looking at just a normal FCU that I pulled from a random P320 that I had. You may be thrown off by that because the trigger does look different, and the trigger was a piece that I added later into that FCU, and that is SIG's flat skeletonized enhanced trigger in gold. Looking at the slide then, it is a SIG compact nitron with a Faxon threaded barrel and a PMM Comp Gen 1, made specifically for that Faxon barrel. Jaegerworks did all the cuts, the top serrations, the window optic, the FDE Cerakote. The optic cut is for a Trijicon RMR Type 2, which is what is on there at 3.25 MOA. Rounding out the iron sights are Trijicon Tallboy sights. 2 things worth noting here. Typically, I am a 3.25 MOA guy for my red dots, but this is one of the rare occasions where I wish that I had a smaller red dot. The reason why is because with the Flux Raider, when you are presenting this, it's not so far out, it's closer back. It being closer to your face means that 3.25 MOA dot now to me appears to be almost an 8 MOA dot, and I really wish on this configuration, if I could go back and redo anything, I wish that I had a 1 or 2 MOA dot on this. Don't get me wrong, the 325 MOA dot still gets it done. I'm able to hit plates on a plate rack with not much problem, but if there's something that I could redo, I think a more refined dot on this, because of where it sits to your face relatively speaking, I think it'd benefit that. Secondly, this slide and barrel combo will be almost impossible for you to piece together in the year 2024. The reason why is because SIG's not selling Nitron slides anymore. Almost every slide that they sell is an X series slide that is already pre-cut for a red dot that I don't want. And you can't use X series slides for this Faxon barrel. The tolerances are different in an X series slide. The Faxon threaded will not play with those slides, so that's not your workaround. The great news for you here is that in the year 2024, there are tons of great barrel slide combos that can be yours for whatever dollar amount you really want to pay. So it's not like you don't have options here. It's just a shame that you can't really piece this one together without much effort anymore, because I think this is a solid looking barrel slide combo. And that's really about it for this build. I think it's absolutely rad that I can slide this on and off different host platforms and it's ready to rock and roll. The red dot's already zeroed. I didn't need to buy another red dot in order to keep on a Flux Raider that I use occasionally. And I can keep my suppressor height sights on my slide for that beloved aiming redundancy, because there is no Flux Raider for those tall boys to slam into. Yes, this is the way. I am pretty sure basically all 320s should look this way. Give or take. So my guys, I hope this has been helpful to you. Be sure to check out that kit page for all your next steps. As always, ride fast, shoot straight, get off the couch and into some tactical fellowship, and we'll see you next time.